What is up, Insaners, and welcome to another video of the Fantasy Premier League 2021-22 season. Today we'll be talking about the best wildcard and free hit drafts for the double game week 26, why and who should use these two chips this week. We'll also deep dive into the best and worst case possibilities. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure that you hit the like button, guys. You can also consider subscribing if you're new around here. We are slowly but steadily marching towards 1,000 subscribers, and we really appreciate your support. Now we'll start with why you should wildcard in Game Week 26. There are a few reasons you would want to use your wildcard in Game Week 26. Let's say you have a heavy investment in defense, midfield, or maybe even an attack, and you want to change your structure, then a wildcard makes sense. For example, you have someone like a Ronaldo in your team, and you don't want to do a Kane or take any hits to maybe get to a Salah, or maybe you want to get rid of your Chelsea or Man City defenders and play a 3-man at the back. Definitely wildcard is for you. We also got news that Jota could be out for 2 weeks, so if you want to take him out and get in Robertson for the double game week, there's a good chance that you press the wildcard button, guys. In general, if you're not happy with your team and you want to change at least 6 to 7 players without getting to -12s, -16s, I think the wildcard makes more sense. Another reason could be to take advantage of the double game week fixtures. Now Arsenal and Liverpool have decent fixtures, and if you are set on playing your free hit chip in Game Week 27, then I think wildcard this week and setting up your team for Game Week 30 makes a lot more sense. If you have a single free hit chip, guys, then maybe it gets a bit tricky, and I'd probably just take hits to 6, 7, 8, or maybe even more double game week players in case required. A downside to a wildcard this week would be that you won't be able to play any other chip like the triple captain on a Liverpool asset, not even a bench boost, if you have a decent bench. So if you have a decent team and you are planning to play any of these two chips, guys, definitely save your wildcard for later. Now let's get into a wildcard draft with a free hit in Game Week 27. Now that means you're playing your wildcard in Game Week 26 and free hit in Game Week 27. Because we'll be playing a free hit in Game Week 27, we've gone heavy in terms of going for Arsenal and Liverpool players. Now that kind of makes sense. We have 6 combined players from both teams. Now in this draft, we have a double up on the Arsenal defense with Ramsdale and Tierney. I think Ramsdale is possibly the best keeper shout for the next few weeks. He's not your typical 2 or a 6-pointer keeper, guys. I think there's a massive upside here. Tierney is a bit tricky as he's a bit injury prone. He doesn't have the best of underlying stats as well, but he's still okay when it comes to attacking. If you have the extra money, then Gabriel is a decent shout. Now he's a threat from set pieces, and Arsenal's record from set pieces this season has been quite decent. Now in case if you want to save some money, then Ben White is also a cheap option who doesn't have any attacking threat but looks good from a bonus points potential, especially if Arsenal don't win by a huge margin. Guys, the third Arsenal player is Saka, who looks like a clear standout in an Arsenal midfield. Now Martinelli has a red card and he won't be featuring against Brentford, which looks like the easier fixture of the two. If you want to take a punt though, you can go Lacazette instead of an Arsenal defender. That's also a possibility, especially considering that there are no clear forward choices at the moment. Personally, I would like to get the double up in the defense and add an Arsenal attacker. Now from a Liverpool perspective, guys, we've gone for a double up in defense with Trent and Robertson and Salah as our sole attacker, who's a standout pick in that Liverpool attack. I generally think that Jota misses at least 1 if not 2 games, and on a wildcard, you can easily go for Robertson instead. Talking about the defense, guys, now Trent has been a brilliant pick so far this season. He's still the most attacking defender in the Premier League. Coming to Robertson, and his numbers in the past few games have been very encouraging, and if you're okay going a bit heavy in defense, then Robertson is a great shout. Coming to our third player, guys, Salah is Salah. I don't have to talk about him a lot. 2 great fixtures, and if you are on a wildcard, keep that in mind that you won't be able to triple captain him, but captaining him would at least mitigate the loss a little bit. On a wildcard, I would definitely not get in Jota, Mane, or even Firmino in attack. Other than that, we've gone for a double up in Wolves. They have a tricky double game week, but fixtures post that look okay. We also know that they have been a brilliant defensive side, so investing in a defender makes a lot more sense. You can go for 8 Nouri, but he's a slight rotation worry. If you want a nail defender and you have the money, then Saiz is also an option. Now if you don't have funds, then Kilman is also quite cheap and a pretty sure starter in that Wolves backline. The other pick that we've gone from the Wolves team is an attack, guys, and it's a bit of a punt. We've gone for Jimenez. I know his attacking numbers haven't been that great. I mean, his expected goal numbers are also quite low from a striker's perspective, but Wolves might play a lot more attacking than what they've done so far. That I think would suit Jimenez maybe a bit more, and you never know, he might have a haul in there somewhere. To complete the defense, we have Cancelo and Sanchez in goal. Now Sanchez rotates well with Ramsdale. If you want to go super cheap, of course you can get in Foster as well. Coming to the defender, Cancelo, I think he's pretty much nailed for me guys in this team, and he plays even if he has a single game week fixture going forward. I think going without Cancelo in your team is quite risky and it's a safe pick. Among our mids, we have Bowen, who is super difficult to transfer out or even bench even this week guys. His performances have been great recently, and even if he's owned by almost everybody, you would want that safety net in your team. Other than that, we have Rafinha and Son. I like both, maybe not entirely for the doubles in Game Week 26, but the fixtures beyond that look pretty okay guys. Son has a tough Man City game, but then he has Burnley, Leeds and Everton, so he might not be a bad shout overall. If you want guys, you can also go for a City mid instead if you don't like Son's potential. Among them, Mahrez looks quite nailed at the moment, which is difficult to say for a Pep Guardiola team. Even Sterling looks like a good option guys. If you have some money lying, then keeping Bruno Fernandes for the next 2 game weeks is also not a bad shout, but money could be a serious problem here. Talking about other players, and now Rafinha, I think he's a bit more long term. He has decent fixtures post Game Week 26, plus he also plays in Game Week 30 when most teams are blanking. I think Leeds are looking a lot better in attack, and Rafinha, as always, I think he'll be heavily involved in all their attacking play. Among forwards guys, we have Broha, King, who could be Dennis as well. Now both are cheap enablers. Broha looks like a really good option for the upcoming fixtures, and though Southampton has overperformed its expected numbers, they're still a decent team who can score goals. Another option could be a Watford attacker, but maybe only for the double game week 26. Weghorst from Burnley is another pick that looks interesting, especially when Burnley has 4 games of the next 2 game weeks. Guys, if you have the money, it's definitely worth going for. Overall, a pretty solid team with a few tweaks in case of any budget constraints. Now we also have 0.9 million in the bank to deal with any difficulties later. Now guys, moving to a wildcard draft, if you're not playing your free hit in Game Week 27, now this gets a bit interesting. Because we're not free hitting in Game Week 27, we have not gone heavy in terms of Arsenal players. We still have the triple up on Liverpool, as that looks really good. We can play Sanchez instead of Ramsdale in Game Week 27. Rather than Tierney here guys, we have Luca Digne from Villa, who has not returned by a great deal, but he has looked quite solid going forward from defense. So in all, we have a playing keeper and a back 3 for Game Week 27 pretty much set. Among midfielders, Salah would remain on the bench of course. Saka is an interesting one. I mean, you can do 2 things with Saka. You either make a switch to Cornet for the Burnley double in Game Week 27 and then get him back with a transfer again. Now, this makes a lot more sense if Arsenal double in Game Week 28 or 29, otherwise it's an additional transfer. The second option here is to keep him and play with 10 players in Game Week 27. Now honestly guys, that's not too bad either. Also, if you're not free hitting in Game Week 27, then going straight for Weghorst makes a lot more sense instead of a Watford attacker. In this setup guys, you can easily retain Broha and Jimenez as your 2 other strikers. Now, like the first wildcard draft, this team too has some money in the bank, and you can use that if required. So guys, these were our top wildcard drafts with and without the free hit chip in Game Week 27. It totally depends on your team strategy, and you can go for whatever you like. So how did you find these wildcard teams? Do let me know in the comments below. I would love to know your thoughts. Now let's talk about the free hit draft and who and why should you use your free hit chip in Game Week 26. Now guys, free hit this week would allow to get in some of the best double game week players in your team, and this works really well if you're not having a lot of double game week players in your team. Let's say if you have Jota in your team and maybe a few other fires to put out for this game week, or you feel your team is quite good for Game Week 27, maybe even Game Week 30, then free hit, I think it's not that bad of an option. Of course, it's heavily focused on short-term gains, but if you are looking to do just that, then it's worth a shot in my opinion. Now coming to the free hit team for the double game week 26 guys, it's somewhat similar to the wildcard team that we did earlier. We have gone for a triple up on the Arsenal and the Liverpool team. We also have a double up on Wolves. I think the most interesting thing is a triple up on the Burnley team guys, which I think a lot of people would be against. I know the fixtures are tough, but most of these players would be on the bench anyway, and I'd most likely play a 4-4-2 with the Burnley assets on the bench. I know it's a bit different in terms of only going for double game week players, but that is the advantage of being on a free hit guys. Now there are some single game week players like Bruno Fernandes, Bowen, maybe even the Man City assets, but a fair few would be having those players in their team anyways. I mean, the managers who are not using the free hit chip would be having these players in their teams, and then getting them on your free hit chip won't give you any major gains. I mean, this is a chance to go differential, guys, and there's absolutely worth it. Talking about the budget of this team has a lot of money in the bank, around 2.2 million, so you can make significant gains. You can upgrade one or maybe even more Burnley players to maybe Aston Villa options playing against Watford, but that's one way. You can also punt on the Everton attack against Southampton, who have been a bit leaky. So there's flexibility with this team. I think it totally depends on how differential or how attacking you really want to go. For both the wildcard and the free hit team, guys, I haven't gone for any major Crystal Palace players, but there's too much uncertainty among their attackers and the defense isn't that great. Arsenal and the Wolves defense should definitely be a priority, irrespective of whatever chip you're using. I've also not gone for the likes of Kane just yet, as a double in 26 is tricky, and I just feel going for Son gives us a lot of flexibility to go for the likes of Fernandes, Sterling, or even a decent Chelsea option in the future. In the end, guys, I would like to say both chips are very team dependent and there's no right or wrong way to play them. If you feel a wildcard is better suited for your team at this stage, then definitely go for it. On the other hand, if you are looking to attack the double game week and going for short-term gains, then free hit is more sensible. So guys, that'll be all from my side. It was a short video. I hope I was able to give you some clarity in terms of your wildcard and free hit team if you are using the chip in Gameweek 26. Do smash that like button if you enjoyed today's video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. Now we'll be back tomorrow with our team selection video for Gameweek 26, so do look out for that. Till then, keep tinkering with your teams, and I'll see you in Saners next time.